Hi, welcome to the nursing lab. Today we're going to talk about IV math, and there's two ways that we do IV math. There's drip rate, which is when we don't have a pump, and then there's pump math. And this gets people all Twitter-pated. Guys, I'm with you. Math is not my favorite subject, so let's make this kind of math easy. Let's get this guy out of here. All right, so there's two kinds of math that we're going to be talking about today. The first thing we're going to be talking about is drip factor. And drip factor is really easy. What we have to understand is that with drip factor, it's all about what's on the package. So this is our drip rate. It's 20 mLs per, or 20 drops per ml. And so understanding that will help us understand how we have to calculate our medication. So let's go with, we've got normal saline. So our doctor's order is normal saline, 1,000 mLs, so 1 liter, over 8 hours. There's a couple ways we can kind of figure this, but what I like to use is just kind of a little trick of helping me remember is total volume times drip factor over time. Okay? And there was someone that said one time that I heard that helped me is TV over time makes you deaf. And so that kind of helps you set up the setting. So we've got 1,000 mLs that need to go in 8 hours. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our total volume, which is 1,000 mLs, times 20, because that's our drip factor, and it's over 8 hours. So what we need to do is convert that to minutes, and that ends up being about 480 minutes, okay, which then equals big numbers, 20,000 and 480 still. Okay, and then eventually when you calculate that all down, it's 41.66666, lots of six. So you can't give a partial drip, so you have to think about that. You're gonna round. You're gonna give 42 drips per minute. That's one way to figure this one out. The other way to figure it out is, because I don't like those big numbers, they make wonky in my head. So what I do is 1,000 mLs over 8 hours, which equals 125. So that gives me my total volume for an hour, not just the total volume for the 8 hours, but the total volume for 1 hour. So I'll do my total volume, again, you follow that out, total volume times 20 over 60 minutes, because now we're at 1 hour. And then that ends up being 2,500 over 60, which then exactly equals the same thing, 4.6667, something like that. So, and again, you can't give a partial drip, so you're going to round up to 42. So that's how we calculate drip factor. Really simple. It's just a lot of numbers. Drip factor isn't something we use a lot. This is going to be something when we do not have an IV pump. So it's something to pay attention to. If we do not have an IV pump, this is what we're going to use. If not, we'll have other tubing like dial-a-flow or something like that that can be used in different scenarios. But you do have to know this and how to calculate it, because they like to sneak it onto boards. Now, let's kind of erase that. And let's talk about what happens if you do have a pump. Well, if you do have a pump, IV pumps are always mLs per hour. So you have to calculate everything mLs per hour. It's really easy. If your doctor gives you an order for 100 mLs of an hour of normal saline, that one's easy. You set your pump to 100, all right? Because it's 100 over 60. 60 minutes, 100 mLs. That one's easy. Well, that one's easy, but what if we get an order, like for one of our antibiotics, and it's 50 mLs over 30 minutes? Remember, our pumps are always set for mLs per hour, so we have to figure out how to calculate this. How I like to do it is you've got 50 over 30, because that's your minutes, and you need it to be over 60. So whatever you do to this 30 to get it to 60, you're going to do the same thing to your 50. So this one, you take it times 2. That one I'm going to have to take times 2. So that's going to be what I'm going to have to set my pump to, all right? What if I have a doctor that says he wants 100 mLs over 15 minutes? So again, I take this, again, our pump, it never changes. Our pump is always 60 minutes or 1 hour, all right? So we're going to take the 15 To get to 60, we have to take it times 4. That means we're going to take our top 100 mLs times 4, and we're going to have 400 mLs an hour. That's how we're going to set our pump so that we make sure that we get it over 15 minutes. All right, because our pump doesn't calculate minutes. It does, a lot of pumps have settings where you can see the duration, and so that helps you figure out kind of what you're, as a way of a double check. Another thing we can have is, what if we have like Zosyn? Zosyn is frequently 100 mLs, but it's over 4 hours. Okay, so what are we going to do to be able to do that? Now, you've got 2 ways again of doing this. You can change this to 240 minutes, okay, so that you get your 60, or you can have your 1 hour. So what do I have to do? How do I have to program my pump so that that number gets to 60? Well, I divide it by 4, right? Because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we're going to get 25 mLs an hour. And that's how we're going to program our Zosyn. That's probably the most likely one to have one of those slower rates. But a lot of our antibiotics come as 50 or 100 or sometimes 200 mLs, and then they're over like a partial part of the time. So hopefully that kind of helps you figure out how to do the math. Remember, drip factor, no pump. We have no pump. And drip factor is total volume times drip factor over time. And your time is going to always be in minutes. So you've got to figure out how to calculate it down to minutes, whether you want to put it all in minutes or figure out what you have for that 1 hour. Either works. And then this one, your pumps, drop my marker. Your pumps are always in mLs per hour. Drip factor doesn't matter when you have a pump. So I hope this helps you guys figure this out a little bit more and makes the math a little bit easier when you get to those stressful test situations. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.